Well, that is good news. I wanted to ask you a question here about this poll or this survey that was done about the 20 top most dangerous cities in all of Canada. And number 20, I know you'll find this shocking, is Abbotsford. Apparently the 20th most dangerous city in all of Canada. Does that surprise you, sir?
No, not at all. What it is for years I've been telling the city that they've consistently chosen policies that will manufacture or be the causation of increased levels of criminality being put upon us. And it would materialize in drive-by shootings, gangs, number of drug-addicted homeless people, property crime, and street prostitution, among a few, if not murder.
Right.
And so, the fact that statistics are finally coming in doesn't surprise me. I said for years that I'm the only one that understands the dilemma of drug prohibition.
Now, you have been talking about, in fairness, about how dangerous, how street-level prostitution, drug addiction, grow-ops, all these kinds of things. In fact, I did a series myself on some of the incidents going on in Abbotsford with businesses being broken into. So this isn't really all that surprising to you, but I would have thought that a city like Toronto, which is constantly in the media, constantly being discussed, I would have thought that would have been the most dangerous city in all of Canada, but it's actually Regina, of all places. How the hell did Abbotsford get more dangerous than Toronto?
It's, this drug prohibition is really funny, and if you got all the production houses and stuff located in places like Abbotsford or something, rural cities and stuff like that, being close to the border, having all the prisons here, we sort of have a prison economy in Abbotsford. And the other part of it is we've had the city council, constantly pressing down on the, drug addicted homeless people. And that's what's causing a lot of the violence.
Surrey turns out to be the 25th most dangerous city in Canada. And I thought I read somewhere that Abbotsford Council was looking at adopting some of the criminal strategies from Surrey, which is odd to me given that Abbotsford is actually more dangerous than Surrey.
Yeah, this whole school of thought about how to, the new wave of prohibitionists is what I like to call them. They're coming out of England, and their Professor Fletcher's out to the university there, and out of Surrey, Diane Watts, her program. This is all the same program, and it's all for American, drug policies reworked. But it's all the same thing,
I should interject real quick here and say that Surrey is actually 14th on the list. It is actually more dangerous than Abbotsford. I apologize, which makes it even stranger. I mean, why would we want to adopt the policies of a city that's more dangerous?
Well, why would we, listen, I'm not saying anything bad about Surrey, but, really, it's pretty much the asshole of the world right now, as far as this part of the country. There's all sorts of jokes about, Surrey.
Yes.
And if you want to live there, you almost got to be crazy. I'm not saying anything bad about it, really. I'm just saying that, there's better choices. There's easier.
Well, we're not surprised that it got to be one of the 20 most dangerous cities, speaking of Abbotsford, in Canada. I mean, we just a week, in fact, on the website, there's going to be a story about Shredder, a gentleman who actually was charged with committing a crime that he didn't apparently commit, and that charge was thrown out. But he was sentenced to a jail term and had conditions imposed on him for a crime that he didn't commit. I mean, that's pretty that gives me goosebumps to think that is actually possible in a city like Abbotsford.
Yeah, the whole thing is this police state that's emerging, and the way the police are interacting with the community. It used to be the police were part of the community. They lived next door to you. You knew the officers by name, and you even knew what day they worked, and so on and so forth. Now you don't know anything about them, and they've taken a real defensive role, against the community, and the way our freedoms are being threatened in the United States. I think that this whole thing about policing is going to really be a big issue by the time we get to the mayor's race in 2008.
Yeah, I can see how that would be the case.
The other thing is the economic condition in the state, Fred. It's going to force the police to take, there's going to be people calling for a get tough on crime because there's going to be increased crime for more poverty. And, so George Perry, I don't know if you interviewed him or not on your show.
I did, yes. Well, I haven't on the show yet, but I've talked with him this week.
Okay. Well, I think the whole thing about crime and the leadership of the mayor is going to be very important this next election. And, this is an issue George Perry has resisted talking about for the last 20 years and has come to town. And our chickens are coming home to roost. And we're going to see more violence on the streets. We're going to see more gangs, more prostitution, more home invasions, more murders. And the level of criminality is going to continue to be raised until, the community becomes outraged.
And you're saying the community isn't outraged yet?
No, we are nowhere near close. Because in the state, it's such a place for relief. There's plenty of mayors in the state now that are just outraged, and they're sounding a lot like me, saying they're going to block the doorways of Insight and stuff like that if they try and shut it down. I mean, Senator Larry Campbell said he was going to block the doorway if they tried to shut Insight down. Did you see that?
I heard something about that, yeah.
Okay, so listen, what's the deal is we know that drug prohibition is raising the level of criminality. It is the causation. It is the factory, the manufacturer of all these problems. They're created out of this one policy. It is the root of all the evil that is going on in the world right now, as far as I'm concerned. And this issue will continue to burn until we get to the election. And at that time, people like Senator Larry Campbell are going to be more vocal by that time. The Insight thing comes up for renewal in June. So that's going to be a big issue about what those guys said.
Right. Now, I guess with the city being the most dangerous, you think you're going to see like a mass exodus of citizens going, oh my God, we live in a dangerous city, it's time to move?
No, I think, no, because there's going to be nowhere to run. People, this was the way it was in the States, and I moved from the States to here because I didn't want to live in all that criminality. And, lo and behold, it's caught up with me.
Well, it seems to caught up with everybody going on here. We talked really briefly here, Tim. We talked earlier that the homeless people, some of them are no longer around. They seem to have either been in jail or missing. And there's more prostitutes, and there's still grow-ups going on in Abbotsford. I mean, do people just not notice that, or?
No, I think they're noticing that, like when the old people leave and the new people come in, what we're getting is it's getting more violent, and the new people don't totally respect anybody, including me. They'll rip me off. I've helped a lot of people. It's absolutely nothing to some of the people out there right now. They'll rip me off as soon as they'll rip anybody off. They don't even know who I am.
Well, maybe that's better for you, given that situation. So, I mean, is there a solution to this problem besides just locking our doors and hoping for the best? Yeah,
indeed, drug prohibition, it will unwind all this criminality, and that's the only solution.
That's the only thing? You mean having more police officers aren't going to do anything?
No, because, the politicians like Ed Kraft and, say, John Smith and some of them, they call for more cops, and that creates a problem. And then they run on a platform of getting tough on crime, which is, their purported solution to the problem they created. But, at the end of the day, there's only going to be one solution, and that's to relax the drug laws and to treat people as medical patients as opposed to criminal, inmates.
Well, maybe we should start carrying a gun if we go to Abbotsford.
No, I don't. I think the solution is to unwind it because we got to unwind this whole thing so that we can grow in a spiritual way, and we can't be radiating a good aura and